I think it's we're ready to start. Yeah. We're all set. All right, 6 o'clock, so I'll call our meeting to order and I'll start with the pledge of allegiance. Everybody stand, please.
With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, please take the call.
Ryan Robertson.
Here.
Kevin Key.
Here.
Alan Schneider.
Here.
Tom Sexton.
Here.
Lois Schneider. Here. Edgar McClellan.
Present. All right, we have a quorum, so we'll move on to approval of the agenda. Any questions or comments on the agenda? If not, can you get a motion to approve? Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Robertson, second by Schneider. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda is approved, and first order of business is our consent agenda. We have minutes and expenditures included there. Any questions? Alcohol license as well for Dollar General. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Keenan, second by Robertson to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The consent agenda is approved. Next item up is our public forum. Do anyone wishing to speak in public forum this evening? Sure.
Good to see you. Anyway, just let's see what's going on in the county. I see you have the EMS advisory agreement in your minutes for our agenda tonight. That's something that we're working on right now, so that's good. I see also that you talked a little bit about the Blackjack Beach project that Cole and I have been talking about, so it looks good. I'm looking forward to seeing that come down the pipe. Other than that, typical this time of year doldrums. So first of the year. You guys have any questions for me?
I have one question. How long has that EMS contract been?
I believe it's going to be done yearly, so that's the intent anyway.
I see that it starts in July,
Correct.
so we're already behind.
Well, sort of. The money doesn't come available till October, and it's not getting dispersed until December. So technically, you've got about 5 months. So before any money is available for it. So we're still
The county attorney looked at it?
That's there's been some concern about that. Yes. The answer to that is no. However, we looked at the first one, I guess, the generic, but didn't look at the individual. So that was one of the concerns that came up during the. I don't know that it's a big deal. I think the terms aren't going to change. It's pretty much the same, just changing names. But typically, we do like to attorney before we send those out.
So yeah, in our notes, it does say that it is a recommendation of the attorney.
Correct. Usually when we develop a contract for each individual one, that goes through. That's what I'm saying.
So who's already signed this? Who already signed this?
As far as other agencies, as far as I know, I haven't seen any back yet, but I know that Bryson, I think, moved on it. I think I don't think Ainsworth has. I don't think Russellville has.
Washington City.
I don't know if they have the other. I think they're all in process. I mean, it's only been out for a couple weeks.
Gotcha. That's all I have.
Great.
It's good to see you.
Good questions.
Thank you, thank you.
All right,
Good to see y'all.
Thanks.
anyone else in the public forum? If not, we'll continue on. Next item on the agenda is a request from Sunrise for outdoor seating and reserved parking. Welcome back.
Hello.
Thank you. Long time no see. So we put together a proposal of a couple different options for outdoor seating. We have I guess that's the northeastern corner of that intersection with the storm drain. We were thinking of putting a table and a couple chairs there where the bench currently sits. We think that's the best option because it doesn't block the sidewalk. It's on the western side of the building. It just is where the bench already is, something's already there. And so that's kind of the option that we were hoping to have. And maybe also some benches. We don't want to crowd up the sidewalk too much, but just wanted to lay that in front of you guys and see if you have any thoughts about what that would could look like, or how we could set that up in a way that benefits the city also. And then we have the parking spot that we'd like to have reserved for our mobile ordering. The first option that we have is a permanent 15-minute parking spot for our customers, just to be able to use that so we can come in and grab a coffee or pastry and not have to try to find a parking spot, because sometimes that the side parking there can kind of get full. And not many people like to parallel park in the front, especially, if we have, we have groups that sometimes, there's 6 to 8 people that come in the morning and, have a Bible study, or if it's like a women's group that just gets together, and that's fills up that parking spot pretty quickly when they all drive their own cars. So just having something that's kind of designated for a quick, I'm driving through Riverside just to get some coffee on the way to work, and I don't have time to kind of go around the block trying to find a parking spot, is kind of why we have that in mind for that setup. For the outdoor parking, we were also hoping that maybe there's a way that we could work together with some of the funds for that. Starting a business is expensive, and so we don't want to continue to dish out some money. But we found some options on Amazon that we're thinking that $200 would be able to cover some benches and a table also. So we were just wondering if that'd be an option that the city could help pay for those seating arrangements too.
That's fine, thank you. Any questions to start off the discussion? When you talk about a permanent parking spot, so you were thinking even when the business is closed, that would be reserved for you, or assuming?
Yes,
Okay.
but we're open 6 days a week, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. So it wouldn't be sitting on, attended. I mean, you could also have a sign that, has, on Sundays, you can use this because we're not open on Sundays. That was just our thought. There were a couple other options also. We could do a permanent, not just for Sunrise, do a 15-minute parking just in general, so that, it would be open for other businesses also to use. I know like a lot of places, downtown Iowa City has a lot of those 15-minute parking setups for people trying to go to the different cafes and restaurants downtown. So it's the same idea for this.
Yeah, they have a little bit more, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Fortunately or unfortunately, I guess, but yeah, that's not bad either.
I hope most people have a conscience that if they stay 20 minutes, that's fine. But
Brian, did you review the layout? Do you have any concerns with seating in particular in terms of access and that type of thing?
Yeah, no, I mean, speaking of the parking stalls first, I think that's a great idea. concerns there. On the seating, certainly, again, something that we see elsewhere. And again, Iowa City does a lot of that with their sidewalk cafes, outside restaurants, bars, coffee shops. Always a concern a little bit, especially on a turning radius like that, of safety and vehicles possibly jumping the curb, making a turn. So I think just making sure we have proper safety, clear space from that back of curb to that would be important. I mean, sometimes we'll have railings and fencing, but it's really not going to stop anything like that anyway. So I don't have a huge objection to it. I think just make sure watch for pull back enough from that back curb if there was something to occur on that turning movement.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
What about width? Like they have a picture here on the west side. What about width? Be impeding the sidewalk for handicap.
Yeah, I have not. I don't know if I've seen that.
Yes, that's absolutely, Ryan, that there would be a need for, well, I would say 5 foot is what you want, but a minimum 4 foot would give you because of the short distance, accessibility wise through there. I'd say if you're gonna have chairs and everything else, I would say a good 5 foot of distance there would be needed, yes. To provide that. Certainly look at the dimensions there. See what
So you'd have to kind of make that sidewalk a little wider.
No, I think it's just knowing, I don't know what that width is now, but I've not looked at that, but it certainly can.
I mean, I'd say that out the back, that the tables and chairs in that area on that sidewalk, I'd be opposed to. I don't think you're gonna be able to regulate, how far somebody scoots back their chair, and you're gonna get pretty tight in there. Yeah, I agree. Little corner section on the, by the crosswalk is, I don't see a huge issue there.
And we're not talking like a large table, just like a 2-seater.
I get it, but
Yeah. No, I
get
understand.
somebody sitting there and then sitting with
Sure.
their dog, and
Yeah.
Sure.
we gotta be mindful of that, not blocking the sidewalk. Reserve parking spaces for one single business, I don't think is a good idea. 15 minutes, whatever, 20 minutes or whatever, I'd be open to that, but one single business to assign parking spaces to them off of the city street on our property, I don't think is probably the correct thing to do. Then I know people will come out and say, can I get safe thing? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's why, whatever we decide to do, I think we need to make it clear that it's just temporary, or there's no conveyance of permanent access, because it's how it impacts other businesses.
I believe that the restaurants in Iowa City, when they set up their outdoor cafes, actually rent those parking spots from the city. And they rent it for a certain period of time. Let's say just for the summer, 3 months, we want to reserve and rent these parking spots, and they actually pay for that. If I remember correctly from Mondo. We got like the street with the hamburger in. They did all that outdoor.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, things are patio furniture and things like that, seating wise, within the sidewalk, they have like a sidewalk cafe permit, an application, you submit a drawing, shows dimensionally where everything is and where it's laid out, and it goes through review and approval. And I can't speak to I can't remember the cost on that, or cost on spaces, of course, that would be also because those are muted spaces you're taking and you're losing revenue, where maybe not the case here, so. I think, even on that side, if we're looking at it, I mean, if it's a little 2-person table and you're seating, that'd be north-south, combined with that ramp, it might not be a big deal either, but
Well, I think if we put time limit on parking, that's all.
yeah, absolutely.
That keeps say somebody is pulling this after 2 days.
Yeah.
As Andrew noted, very common to have a loading zone or a 15-minute type of loading zone.
I think that would solve a lot of problems on that. Make it workable.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, so in short, I would be okay with the tables and chairs and by the crosswalk. Not okay with on the west side of the building, on the sidewalk, and then 15-minute time limit on spaces there
For the whole city, the 15-minute parking.
for the whole city, for those there, yeah.
And tables and chairs not on the west wall, like now you can just like a single bench.
I was gonna say, you have another option there, which shows benches, which certainly would be less intrusive.
Yeah, the benches aren't bad, you know, keep them up against the building, you're fine there.
Okay.
The tables and chairs are,
Just keep on.
have a concern with, I mean, that's just me speaking.
Yeah.
So do we use all the benches that we have?
They are currently out around the city. It wouldn't be a big deal to relocate that one from
I
that.
just wonder if there's some that really are getting used where they're at, if that would help, but, you know, one of those on the west.
We can certainly relocate that one up to that area if they're if approved to have a table and chair where
I mean,
they're
we
at
can
now.
try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
But
it's a
that's,
bad idea to have some benches throughout downtown.
Yeah.
In this location.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think we force people away from the building toward the edge of the sidewalk, and have somebody in a wheelchair goes off that curb there. It would be a good deal.
Yeah, we gotta be really mindful of how much space we have there.
and on the actual signage, if we had 2 spaces and had like Monday through Friday or Saturday, 15-minute parking or something, if you had it days or something, something like that. Because, it's inconvenient if people are coming from Columbia.
Yeah.
I mean, they can park and go across the street, but I can see where 2, and then they can head out of town going north. So, I mean, I think that would work, because I think there's plenty of parking there for those apartments.
There are 3 adults currently living up there and they each have a vehicle. And then we've also asked our employees to park on the further west
Western
side.
Street now.
Well, even if you're, held on.
Yeah.
Parks at a church or something, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm not there that much during the day to know how bad that is on both sides, but you know more what's working.
It's pretty busy in the morning from 8 o'clock to 11:30.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
coming in. doing
Would you say
groups.
that most of those orders are coming in through your app?
It's increasing. Like when we first started, we only had probably 5 to 6 orders throughout the morning, and now it's, I think we've probably gone to at least 25 orders in the morning. For
So they're
mobile
not
ordering.
necessarily waiting for the line and ordering.
Yeah. So we're gonna head and, we'll have the drink ready in 10 minutes for them to come in and pull up and hopefully walk out in 2 minutes of coming parking.
Nice.
So what do we need to do to make something happen? Well, it sounds like I don't hear too much concern about the seating as long as it doesn't infringe on that 5 feet of parking space through there. And then, was it 1 or 2 parking spots with a 15-minute time limit?
I'd like to see 2, because I think a lot of people are
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that there's plenty of lawn there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And again, this would be
For the rest of the
hour.
yeah.
At any point, I think we can change course if we
Sure.
determine it wasn't working, but, it sounds like everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
So let's work on the details. I'm assuming we'll need some signage.
Yeah.
That type of thing. I'll work with Stephanie on that and let everybody know. I don't think we will take any formal action tonight until we have a little bit more.
Okay.
Fleshed out with the plan, if that sounds reasonable. that we keep it.
Just to be clear, it's where that bench is. For the seating.
So it seemed to me like we were okay with a bench on the side and the table
On the western wall.
the table around it.
A bench or 2 on the west side and then the table on the side on the board.
Yes.
Southwest side.
And would that be anything that the city would have extra funds for like a table and chairs, or?
And looking at Amazon, they found roughly for the table and 2 chairs about $100, $110.
How about we take care of the benches and you take care of the table and chairs? How's that sound?
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? And
No.
okay. All right, we'll work on that. Be in touch.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Great spot, by the way. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Took a lot of work, but it's going
Yeah,
well.
you guys did an awesome job.
Thank you.
All right, we've got a few public hearings on the agenda tonight. The first of those is for rezoning of the 1178 Enterprise Drive property. So we have proposed ordinance in the packet. So this will be a public hearing on the proposed zoning amendment to the property located at Enterprise Park Part 1, Outlot A, 1178 Enterprise Drive. Changing the zoning classification from C3 to M1. So if there's a motion to open that.
I'd make a motion to open the public hearing on rezoning at 1178 Enterprise Drive. Second.
Yeah. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote on that. Rogerson.
Aye.
King. Sexton.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
And McGuire.
But
All right, so 6:21 PM. Public hearing is open. Anyone wishing to speak in the public hearing? If you guys have something to say, feel free.
Nothing to add.
Nothing to add, okay. Anything submitted?
There's been
outside
nothing
the-
submitted,
Okay,
no comments.
all right.
what's the number?
So,
It's 53.
Eastern Iowa Light Power is requesting this.
Yeah, this is an ordinance. It is 5.
Sorry, go ahead.
Eastern Iowa Light Power is requesting rezoning. Do they own the property yet?
We do not.
Not yet, okay.
This is part of the purchase contingency.
Was this for the whole property they were purchasing or just this property you were looking to develop? You changed the zoning on.
We're looking at purchasing the whole parcel, minus 1 acre. So we gotta subdivide that 1 acre off from the rest of it.
I think the rezoning's for all of it.
But you're asking to rezone all. of it.
Correct.
For purchase.
Any other discussion?
You get a fence in, you're getting a fence in here laying out the yard.
And the entire property will be fenced in, including the lay down yard.
That's going from C3 to M1.
Right. What are they doing with it?
Plan to open an outpost there. So that's,
No trees used to the Light Power, or is it?
probably just,
They're moving.
yeah,
Gotcha.
office building with storage as well, right?
So there'd be subdivision documents and site plan that would still have to come through and go through review as well after this. Tom, you do make one good point. And I don't know if you want to act on it at all or not, but being that they don't own it and you're looking to rezone it prior to the owning, you might want some type of agreement or letter or memo from the people that do own it that is getting rezoned.
Yeah.
Because if something fell through with that purchase, it's now rezoned.
Why
Under their
not?
ownership.
If we're rezoning this and whatever reason the sale doesn't
Right.
go through,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you might at least just have some acknowledgement from the current owner that their approval or approving of this rezone.
Yep. And do we, is it best to have that before we do the first reading here?
I don't think it necessarily has to be. I think as long as it gets included for the final reading and approval.
So to make that clear from what you're saying, Brian, will the, agreement with the seller stand, or will it be still zoned as it is now if it falls through?
That's what we're saying.
Well, that's why I'm saying is because he's, from what Brian said, he just says that, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
So we need a clause in there that
Right.
says.
Yeah, if the sale falters for some reason,
Yeah,
it returns to
what it is.
C3.
yeah,
It will not remain.
it could be that, or it could be where you have it on the rezoning application and or exhibit that the current owner signs approval of the rezone.
Yeah, I think that's probably the cleanest way to do it is the current owner agrees to the rezoning.
Yes.
Changes either way.
Correct.
Because otherwise, yeah, I don't know how it would work, because you're probably not gonna close the sale until we record it, and once we
Right.
record it, it's the new.
That happens with, it happens with final plats too.
But it
You
didn't
know.
fall through, yeah, then it didn't fall through. I'm just saying that like, if we leave it that way and it falls through, okay, and then it stays as what they wanted it, is it?
But we have to go through that entire process again, because if their agreement is contingent on it being rezoned,
Yeah.
it has to be rezoned first, and then we're done with this process. We can't say, no, we didn't want to do that, so we would have to go back and go through the whole
Oh, I
process.
see what you're saying. Yeah,
Correct?
Yeah, no, it's very similar.
it'll come back again.
Final plat's the same way. If you have two owners within a subdivision final plat, you have to get signature from both, and they agree to that plat being the same as the zoning.
So we would just get the current owner to say, yes, I'm okay with this, and it gets rezoned either way.
And it'll sit as that, okay, that's what I just wanted to clarify.
Okay, so if we decide to move ahead, that would be the plan, is we'll get, some type of acknowledgement from the property owner that they are on board with this as well. Okay, any other discussion? Motion to close public hearing. That's a motion by Keeney, second by Sexton, to close the public hearing. We'll take a roll call vote for that as well. McGuire. Aye. Schneider.
Aye.
Sexton. Keeney. And Rogerson. Aye. This is 6:27. We'll close that public hearing. So now we have the ordinance. This would be the ordinance 2026-05 if we chose to move ahead for the rezoning of that parcel. Any discussion? Do we have a motion to approve the first reading of this ordinance?
I'll make a motion to approve first reading of ordinance 2026-05, proposed rezoning.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Sexton, second by Rogerson. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. We'll take a roll call vote to approve that as well. Rogerson.
Aye.
Keeney. Sexton.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
And McGuire.
Aye.
Okay. That is approved. We did have a item on the agenda here to waive the second and third readings of this, but it sounds like we don't want to do that so that we can get the agreement of the current property owner. So, any other questions for us? Is that all clear? So most likely we'll get that agreement or that acknowledgement. We'll have this on the next agenda to finalize it. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. No, he had a meeting that he had to go.
I see a smile. I'm like,
I think that's Brian's.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
It's not gonna make it. No Murphy's one.
Maybe he's still waiting for his service.
All right, public hearing number 2. We've got minutes to read different code chapters, it looks like. Water rates, sanitary sewer rates. So, just like with last, we'll open up the public hearing for this, if we get a motion.
I'm gonna make a motion to open public hearing for the ordinance amendment on chapter 92, 95, and 99 of the Riverside Code of Ordinances regarding utility rates.
Also,
Alright. Motion by Sexton, second by Schneider. Take a roll call vote for that. McGuire. Aye. Schneider.
Aye.
Sexton. Key. And Rogerson. Aye. It's 6:30 p.m. And that public hearing is now open. Anyone wishing to speak in the public hearing? All right, any comments submitted outside the meeting, Stephanie?
No comments.
Okay. I will note that it was recommended to us by the attorney that we would consider not waiving the second and third readings of this since it's for
Yes.
utility rate change. So we don't have that. We're not going to do this one. So we give people opportunity to comment at a later date. If there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
motion to close the public hearing.
Second. Motion by Schneider, second by Keeney, any discussion?
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
I thought about, since I made those comments the last time, I still don't know if I'm wrong. Like, I don't know, do we want to see our bills go up every year 3%, or maybe like once every few years 6% or something like that? I'm just wondering, what do we think of in the long term?
I think if we go up 3.5 and make momentum towards getting caught up, we're eventually gonna catch up. It's not just gonna happen every year, you know what I mean?
So we're not gonna be raising it every year.
No, we gotta right the ship, and then once that happens, then you readjust.
And then do we know what it takes to right the ship? I mean, maybe we should go 10% right now.
I don't wanna do that. I don't think that's fair. Well, personally,
It's only 42 cents. Like, first of all, maybe we can get it up to a round number, like $13 instead.
it's 42 cents.
It's 3%.
Not a whole lot for residential customer, but think about like casino and energies like that, it could be quite a bit, it could be a substantial jump. What's the thought process anyways?
Yeah, I think in general, a smaller increase is better than a larger increase. I see your point that
Yeah.
it's 6 1/2 a dozen of the other, maybe if we do a larger increase every few years versus every year. And we're not tying ourselves into an increase in future years either, but I think we need to move ahead with something because we're falling behind.
Yep.
So,
And do we know, I mean, again, do we know what number we're aiming for?
Well, I think it varies, but yeah, we did have a general idea of, I don't remember what it is off the top of my head.
we've done rate studies in the past, and you're not gonna have perfect information where you know exactly where it needs to be. I think we know that it needs to be more than what it is. I think we've looked at surrounding communities, and our rates are pretty good comparatively. So, yeah, between now and next year, we probably need to do a little more analysis of that, another rate study potentially, and have a better idea going into the budget process.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is to make sure that it's self-sustaining and it's not right now with improvement.
Right. I know that we've been
Yeah,
pretty cheap for a while.
yeah, and I don't think technically with the state we are supposed to do that. We're not supposed to take from one pocket and put it into that pocket because that's supposed to sustain itself.
Right.
It has not. But we are also way further ahead than a lot of communities in our improvements to meet new regulations, so. Not that we have a whole lot to make up, we just made some up.
We just want to do this one final time. This is not affecting our stormwater rate level. Because I don't think we ever discussed that.
Yeah, I don't remember.
This was just the,
Water and wastewater.
and the sewer service charge.
So
Yeah. It also was not affecting the deposit we previously discussed. That remains the same in the ordinance. For this time.
And that was how much?
It's
$100?
$100.
That's pretty common.
Yeah, it's written to not exceed 90 days worth of usual cost of utility. That average cost is about a little under $28 a month. So that's where it was originally selected from.
And this does allow us to change that deposit by resolution, so we wouldn't have to.
Yes,
get the code
correct.
to do that. All right, any other discussion? Now we have a motion to close the public hearing. We'll take a roll call vote for that. Robertson. Aye. Keen. Sexton.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
McGuire.
Aye.
Okay, it's closed at 6:36 p.m. And we do have a copy of that ordinance included. So I would like to make a motion to approve the first reading of the ordinance 2026-06.
I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 2026-06.
Second by Schneider. Any discussion? The ordinances are numbered separately from the resolutions.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. All right, no discussion, we'll take a roll call vote for that. McGuire.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Sexton. Key. And Rogerson.
Aye.
Okay, that's approved. We'll have the second reading of that at our next meeting. Look at the official, so we get that. So we get that, acknowledgement from the property owner. Okay, so next up on the agenda, item number 9, public hearing adoption of the capital improvements plan. I will entertain a motion to open that public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second. All right, motion by McGuire, second by Keeney. We'll take a roll call vote for that. Rogerson.
Aye.
Keeney.
Aye.
Sexton.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
McGuire.
Aye.
Okay, so the public hearing is open at 6:38 p.m. Anyone wishing to speak at that public hearing? All right, any
No comments.
comments? All right.
I gotta make a comment. We're on Facebook, we're
You can share that. That was not an official comment.
Thank you, you said what I wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. I can count on one hand when I do from my experience, but it's your correctly. That's always correct me about it.
That's what happens when you have a case that
Okay, I'm so far. Motion closed.
Is that second?
Yep.
All right. Motion by Sexton, second by Rogerson, to close the public hearing. Take a roll call vote for that. McGuire. Aye. Schneider.
Aye.
Sexton. Keeney. And Rogerson. Aye. The anticipation there. 6:39 p.m. Public hearing is closed. We got a resolution, so this will be resolution number 2026-53 to adopt the capital improvements plan. And just to make sure, I know we had discussed that there were a couple of recommendations for changes in those priorities.
So those changes are here.
They are in there. So yeah, we did present this to Planning and Zoning Commission. Went through that. They had 2 comments or requests for recommendations, I should say, for changes. Those 2 being that previously the security, access and controls and the city facility solar power were both in priority B. They asked that those be moved to priority C and in turn move up to priority B from priority C. The improvements, west side improvements, which is like the Boise Street, Oak Street area, and improvements east side of Highway 22 or Hickory Street, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Street. So they saw more need or importance to look at infrastructure-wise, improving roads, utilities, getting rural cross sections into urban cross sections versus solar and or security access and controls on the facilities.
Who said that?
That was the Planning and Zoning Commission.
So talking about moving from plans or from C.
Yeah, so in the copy you have, those have been shown as removed.
Oh, okay.
Yep, those have been shown as changed. So if you look at your page 4, kind of has all the projects that are listed. Yep, that yellow is that priority B in the middle there. You'll see that west side improvements and improvements east of Highway 22, 2nd and 3rd item down. Those have been moved into that area from what was previously.
Glad to hear. Glad to hear.
Those were the only recommendation of changes.
Okay, any other discussion?
It's just a suggested blueprint, so.
Yes,
We work
yeah.
off of it.
That's all right.
There's some things that I don't totally agree with, but I do just maybe prioritizing some, maybe a little different.
Same.
It's a good one.
Yes.
Yeah, and a great point, Tom, and I kind of even threw that in there kind of as an initial page, right? Executive summary and planning process to note, like you said, that this is always, moving target, if you will, and it's subject to change, but at least get you somewhere to start and discuss and move along from there.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-53, adopting the capital improvement plan for 2032, sorry, year-wise.
Second.
Any discussion?
Thank you.
All right, there's no discussion, we'll take a vote on that. Breyer.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Sexton.
Aye.
Ryerson.
You jump right over me and test me.
I should have. Great idea. All right, that is very dominant. All right, item number 10, we've got the EMS Essential Services Agreement that we talked about a little bit during the public forum. Anything you wanted to say on this, Toby, or are you just here to answer any questions?
I'm just here to answer the questions.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on that? I think as we discussed, it probably makes sense to have the city attorney review the document, but anything other than that.
The city or the county attorney?
Well, on our behalf, it would be the city attorney.
Well, I'm glad, I just want to say I'm really glad to see that we're moving forward on this EMS and essential services and improving that. And, that's something I've been talking about for 7 or 8 years. So I know we've had a lot of discussions over the years and it seems like we're headed in the right direction.
And Marcus, you said the term on this is annual at this point.
My understanding, yes.
So every July we renew.
I believe so, yes. Yep. And Edgar can attest, a lot of this is hip shooting. We don't really know what we're getting into yet. We have a budget, but that was hip shot too as well. Some of them have good budgets, some don't.
It's gonna take time.
Agreement, yeah. So the agreement is kind of work in progress.
Kind of like with the utility rates, you gotta start somewhere.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
I mean, I disagree that it's hip shot. There's a lot of work that's gone into this. And so, I mean, obviously we evaluate it every year, but there's obviously a lot of, each agency puts a lot of work into that, so.
Well, thank you to everyone that had some part in this over the years. It's good to be in the situation where we are to get because it helps the county EMS entities. So, anybody have any other comments, questions? So we'll plan on submitting this to the city attorney for review, and we'll have it on the next agenda. If everybody's okay with that. Yeah,
Works for me.
Good. All right. Washington County Sheriff's Department report, or are you still planning on having?
He is still planning on coming. He said he's coming from Brighton, so he didn't know how it would be.
All right, no problem. We've got other things to cover, so we'll come back to that. Brian, you ready for the city engineer's report?
Let me go up there or stay here.
All
right. Sounds good. Yeah, a couple of different items. Wellness Center, we are getting really close to getting things ready for for bid. Our cost estimating is expected, it was between today and Wednesday, no later than Wednesday, back from that third party estimator. We did check in with them today. They'll have it to us by Wednesday. So still waiting on that just to see where it's coming in at. We feel like it's going to be favorable still from everything we're hearing, and right in line, if not better, than where we were before. So all good news there, and we continue to have a lot of interest from general contractors calling about this project going up a bit. So I think all is good there. You'll see we'll be setting public hearing for the plans and specifications and cost estimate. So that would be a public hearing at the next council meeting. Meanwhile, we're just in kind of that 99% to 100% final up on the plans and waiting to see what those costs look like to make sure we don't need to adjust anything there in terms of value engineering. Otherwise, I guess I did have two items that came up that had been initiated with Cole. Now that he's gone, I guess I wanted to just make sure and get clarification on design-wise. So one was, I know originally we had talked about solar that came to the council and it was decided not to do that. In turn though, was there interest still in installing well, it's hard to do that, not my side, but at one point we talked about installing a conduit out from the building to have a conduit for potential future solar. Is that still of interest or not? And there's a little hesitation there because some of that can vary certainly based on the sizing and what we would need for that. We can oversize for it. But, otherwise, it could be obviously put in later too, and just have to come in and trench to probably some concrete and some other things to get to the building.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to try to provide for that in the future if possible. And Adrian had sent me an email this afternoon.
Okay.
I think I responded to that. So
Okay, perfect.
it was our thought that we don't want to do solar at all, or I think what the last communication we from Cole had been that we were considering doing an RFP and having competitive bids on it. Is everybody okay with that? Or not the rest of the solar? Okay.
My understanding is we left it that we didn't want asking the engineer.
Correct. That's the last
we were going to do it. It was going to be, contractors going to come up and did it. Not necessarily think that we needed to do that at the first stage of the project, but that's just my opinion.
Okay. Is there anyone that would want an RFP issued for that to get some pricing on
Yes, Brian, just a guesstimate of what that conduit would.
Oh, the conduit itself to run out for that isn't a big expense at all. It wouldn't be a big expense. It would be very good.
I don't know, I mean, I've worked for electric, so I'm interested in seeing it eventually, but I think not. I'd like to have that for the future, but I don't want to see it even thought about until after we have the project done.
Sure.
Did we know what side of the building the service will be on, the electrical service?
I'm sure we do. I can't remember what it is. But obviously, the conduit was going out to the north.
Yeah, it would go out
for the solar for that field. I can't remember the service is coming in at, right?
That's not a huge deal.
I want to say it's coming in that southeast corner because I think that's where most of our mechanical utility room is on that southeast.
I guess my question too is, are the plans that we have stuff for future otherwise addition?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
So I don't know if it's gonna be a lot different, right?
yeah, and in turn, the other question that goes along with this is there was talk at one point of a generator, potentially a generator. And so the question there was, is that really realistic in your minds if you're going to have a generator there? And if so, we need to accommodate it for a pad and getting everything electrical for that generator.
I think we had some discussions about the potential for a grant for part of the cost of the generator. So there was some interest on mine and Cole's part anyway, and looking into that a little bit. I think Kelowna and Roman both have generators in their facility, if I remember correctly. So
I would think so. I mean, it gives the community a place to go.
Right.
there's no widespread outage.
Yeah, at the bare minimum, I would say we need a transfer switch installed on the main service, and if we have a generator later, fine, but.
That's kind of how the direction we were right now was to set it up for it. We didn't have the generator in the project itself, but we have the pad and the switch and everything.
Yeah, that's at least be.
So, yeah, I'll talk with the county emergency management coordinator and see if there's any strong possibility that a grant might be available to us, and I'll get back to you on that, Brian.
Brian, just a quick question on the conduit. Is there just a certain size that would be needed, or is it determined by whatever your solar field is?
It's determined by that.
Yeah, so I would definitely probably hold that.
And that's why we, kind of hit that wall, if you will, today. When I was talking to Kevin from our electrical, he's like, well, it could be, 2-3 inch, it could be whatever. It depends on what that solar field ends up looking like. That's why he kind of paused and didn't really want to go any further unless there was.
So what's that entail if we don't, then?
Yeah, like I said, if not, you come back later. It's not a huge deal. You'd have to most likely, put it in trench in some of the concrete or more new conduit in there to get that. It's not it'd be some additional cost later to do that, but nothing huge.
Keep jumping back and forth here, but on the generator, was your idea a full facility or partial facility?
If I remember correctly, it was. I don't believe it was full.
Okay.
It was partial.
Yeah, I don't have.
It was, yes. Actually, I know that because we talked, yes.
Okay, excellent.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-54, setting a public hearing on plan specs and cost estimate on the Riverside Wellness Center contract for August 17th, 2026 at the Riverside City Council meeting.
All right. Congratulations.
You got it.
Any discussion? All right, we'll take a roll call vote. Sexton?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
McGuire?
Yes.
Rogerson?
Aye.
Tricky, keep everybody on their toes. All right, one last thing before we move off the wellness center. Cole had been working on potentially setting up a work session on the operation piece of it. I think everybody should have received, I believe, the agreement or the sample agreement anyway, that I had with Kelowna.
Yeah.
So I think we could get a representative from the Y to a work session to talk about that, and I think Roman and/or Kelowna would also be willing to come and kind of give an overview of their experience. Is it anyone interested in that?
Yes. Kelowna and Roman, are they ran by?
Yeah.
Yeah, too.
They're with Y. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to kind of explore that option. That's not saying that we're tied into anything, but.
I'd be interested to hear how that relationship is working out.
Well, not only that, but is there anybody that doesn't do YMCA?
Lone Tree does not. The school district manages that facility.
Mount Vernon City.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe separately.
Do I need to ask one of those people to come?
Let's do this one separately first and see how it goes. And then, yeah, we could definitely look into those options.
Is the Y just responsible as far as being there and having it open, or do they take care of like cleaning and or anything like that too?
They do, I believe, they handle all the staffing, which includes the cleaning services, is my understanding. They handle the program.
The programming, they handle most of it.
Yeah. I was thinking I can't remember if it was, if they handle supplies or the city handles the supplies in their agreement with Corona. So yeah, we could go over all of that. I'll see if we can get something scheduled maybe for the week after our next meeting.
So the discussion was most likely going to have a membership, so that would that be handled by them, be a membership through the Y or a membership through Riverside Wellness Facility?
And I think it would be, the way the Kelowna agreement is structured, I think it would be a wide membership, so the rates are, I think, kind of consistent throughout all the facilities in the county. And I believe, we kind of talked about this, I believe that membership would allow you to go to any one of the facilities.
And talking to Ryan with Clone, that's exactly correct. Yeah.
There's a couple of my members that were super in my face after the River Rock Foundation meeting today. So
Oh, yeah.
last Monday, yeah.
So you saying
What
that
is that top?
Yeah.
if somebody pays a membership here, they can go to Corona too? So everybody charges the same amount?
I don't know that.
I don't know about that, but I know there's definitely.
So go to the cheapest place, get your membership, and then you can go to all of them.
Yeah, there's a huge difference, but yeah. Yeah, so it was. Okay, so I'm seeing more questions that scheduled, like my goal would be to get that date between the second meeting in August and the first meeting in September. All right, I think that covers everything on the center related, so next on the agenda was the CDG downtown revitalization. Were you having that?
Yeah, so there's change orders, 10 through 13. All of these we've taken out of contingency and still leaves contingency at each of those addresses. So still within the overall budget. Certainly can go over any of the descriptions on each of these, but all have been vetted and certainly approved through with the owners of the properties as well as the architect, and even previously with Cole's here too. So all falling within the budget of each of those properties and within the contingency allowed. Happy to try to answer any questions otherwise.
I've got a couple of questions for you, Brian, and don't be quite on the spot, because I know you haven't been as involved as in this, but do you have a feeling for how far out we are on closing out the project?
Yeah, that's a good question. Stephanie, do you know if that was talked about much was walked through?
Okay, that's fine. I'm not asking you to guess on that.
Yeah, I was gonna look at my punches to see if we set a date on that, but I mean, my understanding was within a couple of weeks was the intent.
Okay, yep, and that's kind of what I would have guessed. And then the other item, so we want to get it closed out, but then the other item is the, basically the delay in the project and the contractor's responsibility for that. Who's going to be driving that task? You know, is that going to be on the city?
I do not know. Okay, I can check. I think that has to come.
The city has to make some sort of
Yeah.
response to the contractor. Yes, yeah. I just wanted to confirm that. Just kind of afraid that was
Yeah.
the case. Okay, does anybody have any questions on the change orders? For those included? So it should all be within the project budget. If there's no questions, we have a resolution for those change orders.
I'll make a motion to pass resolution 2026-55, change order 10, 11, 12, and 15 for CDBG downtown revitalization project.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, we'll take a vote on those. King.
Aye.
Rogerson.
Aye.
McGuire.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Sexton.
Aye.
Okay, and we have a pay request as well.
Yeah, just typical pay up into the current amount. There is still contingency, or sorry, retainage, certainly kept back still as well for this, with just over $26,000 of retainage also being held.
So we have a pay request for $49,534.83. It looks like.
Make a motion for resolution 2026-56. Pay application number 12 in the amount of $49,534.83 to Cornerstone Commercial Contract Incorporated.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, let's do a roll call vote for that. McGuire.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Sexton. King. Rogerson.
Aye.
That is approved as well. Anything else to cover, Brian?
I don't think so. I had some stuff I was going to on blackjack, but I see that's an item here later too, so keep that under there.
All right, sounds good. We'll continue on to the mayor's report then. A few items there, I guess. First off, I think we talked about this in passing a little bit at a previous meeting, but the proposed 45-mile-an-hour speed limit changed throughout. The city limits are extending out by the casino, I guess. So we have consulted with the city attorney on that. We don't need to make any ordinance changes, but the DOT is asking for a resolution to state that that is our desire so that they can start on the signage changes for that.
Where exactly does that start at on the east end? In consideration of the main entrance to the casino. Much how far?
It's like right before the bridge, Tom.
The creek bridge?
Yeah, because there's a bridge right there.
Well, that's what I was wondering, is if that's where it started?
Looks like
Just east of the bridge, I think.
The creek?
Yeah.
There's no way we can throw in, reduced speed there on the east side of town? On this?
To
So 25 at least?
So this is only on that G location. Or is it all these A, B, C, D, E, F?
It's between G and F, I think,
Yeah, G and F,
is what we're looking at.
from one creek bridge to the other creek bridge.
Hmm.
The which name that creek?
This is only like 55?
Yeah, we're only 40, yeah.
Lincoln Gate
55, 45.
Oh. What, did they ever say why they thought that? Is it because of the car accidents or whatever, or Dollar General's entryway? Or-
all of the above.
I
It's
know.
not just a truck. I think is why we're asking for it, we're asking. I think we're asking.
People pulling out, symbols and stuff. There at the interchange and stuff.
Years of conversation and about
Well, I remember.
5 studies.
But I thought that turning was even better.
I'm glad we're this far.
Yep, we're doing it. This was a blessing.
You know,
So as I'm looking at the resolution here, it has 45-mile-an-hour zone limits established for each of these segments, which I don't think is correct. Stephanie, you can tell me if I'm reading it wrong, but I think, so segment A is A to B is 40 miles an hour.
Right.
Correct. I guess it's the opposite going back. Let's say working from A to G. So AB is 40 miles an hour, B to C is 30 miles an hour, C to D is 25, D to B is 30, E to F is 35, and F to G is 45. Right? Correct. So the resolution needs to be adjusted to show the different speed limit for each one of those segments.
I don't know that any of the others changed, did they? Except for F and G.
No, and that, we could simplify it by just including that F to G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now it's showing like they're all going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So instead they just got the top saying 45 limit.
Mhm.
You know, I would eliminate everything, but what we're wanting to do.
The 2 mile, yeah.
That 2.63 miles, yeah.
F to G and G to F is 45 miles an hour is probably all we need to say in the resolution.
Yeah, so originally when I done the resolution, I didn't have the 45-mile-an-hour zone limits at the top, that category per se, and this is how the attorney sent it back. So I can review with him again that we don't want that piece right there. We were outlining essentially the map so that it was thorough in the resolution, but I think he added that 45-mile-an-hour speed limit or zone limit at the top, which isn't really applicable to the verbiage below it.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Well, if anything, take the 45 header off and move it down to just the F through G.
Yeah, but it'd be a lot clearer.
Yeah, I think that we just need to remove the 45-mile-an-hour zone limit and then leave it as it is. Yeah.
because if you're reading it, are you saying that A would be 45 from?
This one.
Yeah, kids on the board seat. Yeah, and right now it's not even that.
That's
Yeah.
what I say, take the header off there, and move it down just for F. through G.
What's the A, B, C, D, E segment in here all for anyway?
So it was, I believe, designed for the above grid on the map, where they have outlined specifically what the map entails.
I think we just get rid of all of it and just leave F in there. But obviously,
Yeah, we can
I'd make sure it's,
review that with the
Yes.
attorney.
yeah, because I would want any of these other ones changed to a higher speed.
One already there.
That's why I mean, then you're at 45 and you're at 55.
but we can still,
Yep, we can take action on it as long as everybody understands the intent, and then we'll adjust the resolution accordingly. So whoever makes the motion will state that we're looking to change the speed limit change the speed limit 45 miles an hour in that segment on the map from FGB.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-57.
57.
57, support for the Iowa Department of Transportation, proposed 45 mile per hour speed zone signage from F to G.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote. Rogerson.
Aye.
Keenan. Sexton.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
And McGuire.
Aye.
Right, 13B, we've got our Blackjack Beach RV and Water Resort Project Development Review Inspection Code Enforcement Agreement. So this was the agreement that Cole took to the Board of Supervisors, and I don't believe we have approved that as this body, so I wanted to approve that before I signed the agreement on our behalf. So we've got that agreement in there.
We get the rest of it figured out.
This is just for the county and the city working together prior to property being annexed to make sure that whatever construction they're doing during that time frame meets the city's code requirements, correct? Right.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So, is this an attorney thing that needs to be looked at or has looked at or?
I think this came from our attorney. Cole took it to the board of supervisors to approve it. We just need to approve it on our side, so,
That's my
yeah.
understanding.
Can we,
That's my understanding as well.
when we have some sort of documentation like this, can we see proof of the attorney has visited, reviewed it, and either stamps it, approval of it,
Yeah,
or corrections needed?
we can probably have them provide a memo for stuff like that in the future, it's easier.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-58. Approving the development review, inspection and code enforcement agreement for Blackjack Beach RV and Water Resort.
Well, second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go along with this. But I think we need to start working on who's responsible for what, as far as utilities.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next discussion item.
I'm getting the feeling we're getting pushed on this.
Yeah.
Don't want to be pushed.
I've sent a few messages to the mayor. We can talk about that here. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a saying at the shop. Your lack of planning does not constitute my emergency, and that's true. Because they've known about this for several years now. So, okay.
Let's just say, they don't want to see this hammered through, when this is something, because they've already started the work.
Yeah,
I expressed that exact concern late last week.
have they pulled any permits to start this work?
What's that?
Have they pulled any permits to start the work?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Do they need any sort of permits to be bored in the ground?
In the city right away,
Yes. On
Yes.
their property.
they do for the disturbance.
Any permits that they have at this point would not be us. They
They
got
give it the county.
Yeah,
That's-
correct. It's not the city.
Because it looks to me like there's a boring machine out there.
Yeah. So in communication of them last week, they were wanting to implement a memorandum of understanding, which is a non-binding agreement that basically lays out the terms. Because they were looking to do it groundbreaking sometime in the next few weeks. I don't know if that's still the plan, but that's kind of what they stated, is that their groundbreaking is gonna be happening pretty soon. They might, and we had talked about them potentially doing some perfume or something like that, but that anything larger than that
Oh,
probably.
yeah, that's all they say. There's the drill.
Yeah. So yeah, but having this finalized will make sure that we fully executed on the agreement with the county to ensure that the city's codes are enforced throughout the process.
Has our attorney looked into, we're gonna have to go to an agreement eventually, because he started working on what will be checked on.
Yeah. We actually had a meeting and call on that today. I think we're getting another one set up. We talked about the pre-annexation with the attorney and the mayor today. We talked about another one for a developers agreement.
Because we thought.
Yep. And I we can go into it now.
Yeah.
Or do you need to act on?
No, that's fine. We can have the discussion and then once everybody's.
Yeah. And so I met early last week, with Scott from MMS, who's doing all the site plan and construction drawings. I did a thorough review of those and provided comments a few weeks back. He wanted to get together and go over those, which we did. From that, I had several concerns, which is why I contacted the mayor. Most of those are utility related. And I want to make sure that the city is not responsible for any of these utilities, sanitary, water, storm sewer. And specifically, they've changed from feeding their sanitary sewer gravity feed to our lift station number 5 to actually having a lift station a lift station on site that is then getting pumped to the gravity main of the cities. And one of my biggest fears is that would turn to the city to be responsible for the maintenance of that lift station. which obviously does not serve anything. It has no potential really to serve anything else in the future. So I want to make sure that that was accounted for specifically in developer's agreement on the plans, everywhere else, that this is a private lift station. It's, I think my understanding, talking to the mayor, that they may have some interest in would the city and or people service, whoever it is, do maintenance on that for if they're paying for such service. And that's for a whole other discussion here, I guess. But I wanted to make sure, yes, that that's private, that all the utilities leading through and everything are private as well. So we had a long discussion on that. I also provided a memo that they are required to put in a right turn lane on the eastbound Highway 22 going into the new development. So they're aware of that. There will be for a separate set of plans for the intersection itself. That includes that turn lane as well as any signalization changes. One of the bigger concerns too was that there is no sidewalk connection, pedestrian connection between the casino and the new campground, which you know is going to be accessed by pedestrians. So they are working on a potential sidewalk on the north side of the casino itself. And it's supposed to come back to me with something on the sidewalk to the south as well. But yeah, we went through a lot of different concerns, and he too, even Scott understands and knows they're getting rushed to put this through, and I felt that too, and we need to make sure things are getting accounted for.
Yeah, we have to put something on 2 weeks to make sure we're okay.
Yeah, to my knowledge, DOT hasn't seen anything yet, and they need to be involved, obviously, with the intersection. There's just a lot of those things permitted on us.
As far as I'm concerned, the take on the water main or the wire and sewer, the narrow end is there.
Correct. Agreed.
Install that.
Yep, and that's absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, and that turning one is gonna have to really be studied because you're gonna get people off the interstate more often than coming from the east. And you've got that curve, so the
Yeah.
signage and every, you know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah, this would be coming from the west, going eastbound, right turn lane.
Yeah, heavens,
Headings.
possibly.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that the curve.
Oh, sure, yes, yeah. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and they have another consultant they've already done a traffic study on that area, but they're just working through that. I have not seen any of that design yet.
It's just, there's not much, if you have people lined up going in there, it's, you know, it can be pretty hazardous, and then you got the people coming out of the condos and stuff. I mean, that's from that stoplight back around to the past, you know, our water entrance, I would say, this needs studied pretty well.
Yeah, a couple other concerns I had was making sure there was proper access to the water itself, to the lake, for emergency management and fire and everything else. It wasn't defined well in the plans, even though it's not, it would be a private lift station. There was no access to the lift station, which didn't make sense for maintenance wise and everything else. So there was some items that definitely need to be addressed.
I don't know how much that casino property comes west on that side of the curves, but there really could be some tree clearing in the right of way or in the ditch, just for visibility to the curve. How much of that's there.
That little piece on the curve, piece that is maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure, but it doesn't matter, it does need cleaned up.
All right, so kind of next steps coming up here that we'll have over the next few meetings. The casino or not the casino, the development group is supposed to have their application for voluntary annexation in here. They have not done that, I don't believe, so we're gonna try to get that submitted the next couple of days, I believe. Their memorandum of understanding, which is kind of the terms of the development agreement that we're looking at, but again, it's not a binding agreement. They wanted to get that approved at the August 17th meeting. So I asked for that within the next couple of days as well, so we can get time to HR and review it. That to the group when we have it also. And like Brian mentioned, we've got some other pieces that are in motion right now. The TIF piece of it also, we'll have to have a discussion with Lucy and working on to make sure that that is laid out this point, I have not heard from them on their acceptance of the TIF proposal that we laid out. I'm assuming that will possibly be in the memorandum of understanding that they're gonna submit, but yeah, there's still a lot to be decided on yet, so we'll continue to work through that. And I agree that it's something that's gonna go at our schedule. It's not something we're gonna try to rush through, and I try to make that clear to them at this point.
Also, thanks, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely.
Insight.
So who's really gonna be taking the lead on keeping it in mind if something is not being done on a timetable appropriate? Brian or a city inspector? Or,
With the construction itself,
I mean, like I said, I think they're gonna be pushing this through. And
They want it open by Memorial Day.
yeah, and I can just see stuff being pushed faster than city approval.
and I think we do have within the pre-annexation agreement that they need to submit a satisfactory site plan. They need to get all of the required permits and everything like that, and I think the city engineer's approval is required before the project. So, yeah, I think we do have that. We'll make sure that's all part of the agreements that are in place.
So sound like Terry be working on.
That's good. Yeah, at some point you also have Terry in there for the building side of it.
That sounds good.
All right, so you have, as a reminder, everybody, we've got a motion by Rogerson, second by McGuire for approval of the agreement with Washington County for development review inspection code enforcement. So there's no other discussion. Other comments, we'll take a roll call vote on that. McGuire.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Sexton.
Aye.
King. And Rogerson.
Aye.
Okay, that is approved, so get that back to the county, so everybody's got an executed copy of that, and that should cover us in terms of what happens prior to the annexation being formalized. All right. I think we've already covered item 13C, unless you have anything else, Brian. Anybody have any other questions on project each? All right, city administrator hiring updates. Stephanie included the original timetable they have for the search process in there. The application deadline is coming up the end of next week, I believe, yeah, 16th. And then we're looking to move fairly fast after that. So right now they've got to identify that weekend of the 29th for our final candidate interview process. We have some virtual interviews that week of the 17th, it looks like, as well. So hopefully moving rather quickly, which I am totally on board with. Yeah. But yeah, I think everybody here has been involved in this process. So
Yeah.
how it works, and hopefully we get some good candidates in and to get somebody hired on schedule. We'll try to stay as close to this as possible, but just wanted to remind everybody kind of what we're looking at this point. Any questions on that?
You have any? Yeah.
I haven't heard of
I haven't heard, but I'll check on that. That'll be part of my update this weekend. How many applicants they have and the feedback they've got at this point.
And thank you, I did get the phone call.
Okay.
3 questions turned into a 2-hour conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did the phone call.
Yeah. All right, very good. I think that was it. Any other questions for me? Okay.
Thank you, Alan.
Any closing comments?
I do.
All right.
All right. 2 things. I would like, if we could put the rezoning of the corner of Washington and Highway 22, because that's all commercial. I'd really like to see that residential. That's that issue that I had with Cole not bring it up when we did the Board of Adjustments to allow them to build that garage. That whole block is commercial.
Good time.
Or did he get that?
Oh, you killed my time.
Welcome.
No, that's more of the thing. The other thing I wonder, so if we could put that on the agenda or look into that, I'd really like to get that over there. Yeah, the corner of Washington. And then the other thing too, something that we were talking about on our little field trip today, the addresses. I think it's really important that we look into making sure that either the city ordinance or city code has a requirement for like the fire department to be able to find addresses and stuff like that. That should be a priority too, I think, just making sure that addresses are up so you know what the address is.
I think it would almost be good if the city funded those so they're all the same.
That,
And readable.
I like that.
yeah,
That'd be cool, like Burlington does that in a couple neighborhoods, their historic neighborhoods.
Yeah.
It'd be cool.
West Branch did that as well.
Yeah.
Kind of talked about that one time, I think, that they would all, so they wouldn't be, that's a long time ago, but yeah.
I like that idea.
I think that sounds like an excellent project for the city administrator.
Start them off.
Did you see the beautiful slate that was on the front of the King's building?
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe tell the owners.
Well, that's what I was thinking too. I mean, we're gonna wait till this, till the business owners that we're considering this.
Yeah.
So I know there's, we're bringing them up with one I see, and it's not really
Yeah.
bright and visible.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna make any promises on the rezoning with everything else that we did.
Is that a pretty quick thing we can do?
No,
It's not-
more important things.
Let's just not forget it.
Yeah, and so anybody else have closing comments?
I just had a question about the water plant and the wastewater, whether the lights have been fixed. Cause it is, I mean, it was like pitch dark at both of them. I haven't been out there the last week or so, but
The exterior one?
exterior, there was no lights on. There was eventually a few, like those outside ones at the water one, but it was dark that night, so. Yeah,
Haven't seen any other instances of that, but we can-
I just didn't know, cause, I think somebody's gonna tell me this was or something. I think it's right around when I was looking, I think it's gonna, let them know, but I don't know, but, I mean, there was nothing about the wastewater.
Just like on security poles or the building or.
If you went out there, there was just dark. There was, I think there was a security light in the maintenance building, but nothing. So I don't know, I could drive out there to check tonight, but, if you didn't tell people service, it's fine.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. I can check with Jed when he comes in the morning.
I just, it's,
I know. There were all water, leak detector people here last week, and I wasn't able to stay with them the whole time, because they didn't have much luck finding anything. They were thinking we got a whole bunch of little leaks instead of one, a few big ones, which is probably true. They were here to check. That is all.
Anyone else?
Thanks a lot.
All right, we'll circle back to the Washington County Sheriff's Department. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. All right, for July, Riverside had a total of 126 calls for service, with 74 of those being traffic stops. And in comparison to July of 2025, Riverside had 113 calls for service with 58 traffic stops.
I think you guys are aware of the speed limit changes that have been proposed, the 45.
Yes, I did hear that about that, yes.
Any feedback?
I think that it's great for someone's pulling out of Maverick, come to go, or Maverick now. I think
Yeah.
very beneficial. Obviously, there'll be a transition time between people realizing it, that are used to the 55, but we'll definitely enforce that, so.
There might be a time period, right?
What's that?
There'll be a time period to allow people to get used to that.
I mean, not really, no, there won't be, but, our job is to educate, and from that point forward, citations. So,
Any other questions?
Did we remember how we used to get those like packets of the sheriff's report? Is that still, do they still do that or is that no more?
Yeah.
They're sent out electronically. I was sending them and then Cole was sending them, then we were both sending them. So I backed up and let Cole send them, so I probably need to pick that up again. I
Okay,
haven't seen one recently,
I
but
didn't see a recent one.
Yeah.
I do like the slim one.
I'll look and see when the last one came and get it sent over to you guys. Yeah.
I got a funny story for you, by the way.
Somebody can watch it daily.
That's all we have.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
You bet.
Glad you could make it.
You bet.
Well, and I would say, if there's other time, I realize it's on there, but if he's fired, you know what I mean, that.
You send us those.
We've done it several times. Like,
Yeah, I just want, rather than know that, but the radius of that many miles and stuff, yeah.
I
it's
just
just-
put up the lights on top.
Probably used them, didn't he?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned at 7:31 p.m.
Oh.
Thanks, everyone.
You're still in that chamber, it's like-
I thought that was your count.
Sure. That's good. That's good. Yeah, right.
Oh, what did you do with it? What the- that was so great.
You know, I got those last couple of years when taking.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah. Awesome. Got the computers.
Yeah.
And it is nice.
Sometimes we're lucky to talk about work.